Friday onwards, if you have any difficulty or if you find any difficulty in the question of Friday assessment, okay, just take a screenshot of the question,
Sure, sir.
okay, because I questions because I'm not someone from the LMS is giving the questions. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm not the. Hmm. Okay, what we discussed in our last class, I think on Friday, what we discussed.
Regular expression.
Okay, regular expressions. Okay, so we are done with the strings and regular expressions, right? Can I ask you a few questions? Guys, are you ready? Why so silence? What's happening? Hey, what's happening? Why so silence? You know, I hate this silence. Okay, so what is meant by immutable string? What is meant by immutable string? Okay, Ketan.
Cannot change the values once declare the value type.
Okay, let's go with Ketan. Ketan, you can answer.
Using immutable string are those string in which you cannot change the value of the
Directly.
content.
Hmm. We cannot change the value directly. We have to pass the reference to the string. Very good. Okay. So what about mutable string? Okay. Very good, Rahul. So I mean, I want to create mutable strings in Java. Is it possible to create mutable strings in Java? So basically Java strings are immutable, right? So here I want to create one mutable string. How to create a mutable strings in Java? Guys, I think you know that.
By using the
Using the
reference, you know.
no.
String buffer using string
Yes,
buffer.
very good. String buffer and string builder. By using string buffer and string builder, we can create mutable strings. Okay, so there you can change the value of the string directly. Okay, without passing any reference. Okay, what is the use of index of method? We have lot of methods in a strings, right? So what is the use of index of method in Java? To read the content of particular index. Okay, very good. So to know the index or to know the position of a specific word in a given string. Very good, Rahul. Hmm. What is the difference between index of and the last index of? Someone other than Rahul, Ketan, Nandu.
Last index of read the last value of the string.
Okay, last occurrence of the string.
Yes, so sir. Last occurrence of the string.
Hmm. Index of considered on the first occurrence of the string.
Okay, first of all. Okay.
Very good. Hmm. Okay, so. Mm-mm. What is the use of string tokenizer? What is the use of string tokenizer? We discussed about string tokenizer, string buffer, and string builder. So, what is the use of string tokenizer? Hello. String tokenizer. Okay. String tokenizer allows you to break a string into multiple array elements. Okay, so string tokenizer is almost very similar to the split method. Okay, split method is used to separate a string into character arrays, right? But here, by using string tokenizer, you no need to create an array, you no need to store the objects of a string into an array. Okay, you can directly split the string into different elements. Okay, in string tokenizer we have special methods called has more tokens and the next token. By using next token we can print the next token of a string, and by using has more tokens we can iterate over the string elements. Okay, so finally string tokenizer allows you to create, okay, allows you to create, different tokens by breaking the string. Okay, so string tokenizer almost equal to string split method. Okay, in the string split method you are splitting the different, I mean, one string into different character array. Okay, but here in the string tokenizer no need to create a array, separate array for it. Okay, so that is the main difference between string tokenizer and string builder. Okay, string builder is a mutable string, and string buffer also mutable string. Okay, so what is the difference between string buffer and string builder? String buffer and string builder.
String builder is fast.
Yeah, string builder is more faster than string buffer. Very good. Yes, single thread data one at a time. Very good. Yeah, actually string buffer is thread safe. Okay, but string builder is not a thread safe, but string builder is more faster than string buffer. Okay, this is the main difference. Okay, so in the regular expressions we have two important classes, no? So what are the two important classes in regular expressions? What are the two important classes that we have in regular expressions other than Catherine? Anyone?
Pattern class, matcher class.
Very good. Pattern class and matcher class. Okay. Mm, so in the pattern class, we have one important method. No, while you're creating a one pattern, we have one important method. So can you define the method which is in the pattern class? Guys, what about others? Why are so silent? I don't want this silence. You know that. Divya, Gunjan, Hemant, Khushbu, where are you? Renu, Rupa, Sheetal, where are you? Are you there? So what is the
Yes, sir.
important method? Hmm. What is the important method in pattern class that is used to compile given pattern? I told you. We have a compile method in pattern class which is used to compile the given regular expression. Okay, and in the matcher class we have matches method which is used to match the regular expression along with the given string, right? So there are two important classes which is a pattern and a matcher, and there are two important methods. Okay, so compile is the method which is declared in the pattern class which is used to compile the given regular expression, and matches is the method which is used to compare the a string along with the regular expression which prints the some boolean value. Okay, yeah, so we have different quantifiers, right? So what is the meaning of star in regular expression? What is the meaning of star in the regular expression? Okay, I can write something here. Okay, if I write anything, A to Z. So what is the difference between mentioning star, mentioning question mark? What is the difference between these two things? These are two different regular expressions, right? So what is the use of first one and what is the use of second one?
Question mark represents only one character.
I already tell you I don't want to listen from regular people. I want someone who are not actively listening. Nishant, Divya, Gunjan, Rupa, Renu. And Hemant, are you there, Hemant? Ankit is so silent. Amit is so silent. What's happening?
I think you need for random calls, sir.
Here, star matches to more than one occurrence,
Okay, very good.
and question mark is for only one,
Hmm. Okay.
zero or one.
Yeah. Star reference like occurrence of more than one time. Okay, more than one time. But here question mark defines once, only one. Okay. For example, you can compare this with basket. Okay, then it prints true because we mentioned different elements. Okay, I mean multiple characters which is in the specific range. Okay, so that's why it returns true. Okay, if you write Bhaskar here, it returns false because you need to write only one character because we specified question mark here. Okay, we specified question mark. So if you write like this, okay, if you written like this, then it gives true because okay, you have only one character and that character must be in the specific range. Okay, so if I mention like this, a to z and a to capital A to z with mm, hmm. So what is the meaning of this regular expression? What is the meaning of third regular expressions? First regular expression, okay, which defines star, that means okay, I mean number of occurrences more than one time, and question mark defines only once. Okay, only one occurrence, and here I mentioned something. So
So
what is
at
the
least
meaning of,
five times, five characters must be there.
yeah, five or more characters. Okay, at least five or more than five. Okay. Mm, mm. What is the meaning of this regular expression?
At least five character.
At least,
Only five.
no, no, not at least, it only five. Okay, if you mentioned comma, then it means at least five characters. Okay, so here you have to enter only the five characters, not below five or not above five. Okay, so cats is five, but not more than five or not okay, below five. So I want to create a regular expression for phone number. Okay, I want to create a regular expression for phone number. Okay, so can you create Suraj mute?
Yeah.
I want to create a regular expression to check phone number. So how to check for a phone number by using our regular expressions. So silent why? Phone number must be consist of 0 to 9 characters, right? So 0 to 9 digits, 0 to 9, and those things. Okay, I mean how many numbers are present in the phone number?
10.
10.
10. So you have to write 10. So if you want to write I mean specific +91 and all, so you can define +91. Okay, +91 must be 1. Okay, so then you should enter phone number like this, 91, it's a 0 and 0 0 8 on something. Okay, then it returns true. Otherwise, if you miss this particular 91 either, okay, if you miss this particular 91, okay, then it will I mean it will print false because you missed the 91. Okay, if you want to check only the phone number, not with the country code, then you can write this statement. Okay, the 0 to 9 digits. Okay, and must be something. And you can we can write more specific, I mean we can check for the more specific phone number. Okay, every phone number must be started with either 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Okay, so we can check something like this, so 6 to 9. Okay, that will be first character, and it contain anything. Okay, so within the range of this. Okay, if you give something like, in this case it will print true. Okay, because the first character, okay, the first digit, okay, should be in the range, because 80 is in between 6 to 9, so it is true. Okay, if you write like this, okay, 5 something something, okay, if you write like this, it will print false, because phone number cannot start with 5. Okay, phone number must be started with specific range between 6 to 9, either 6, 7, 8 or 9. Okay, so you can write something like this also, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, either 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Okay, so the first character should be the only these 4 digits, because I mean, by using these digits only your phone number got started. Okay, no phone number in India, okay, not started with 54321. Okay, it must be started with 6789. So you can write more specific things like this. Okay, you can mention them. Okay, so this is, I mean, this is how we need to check for the phone number. Okay, regular expression for phone number. Okay, so like this we can write anything. Okay, so today we are going to check for, okay, we are going to learn about something interesting like exception handling, and some features of Java 12. Okay, so there are new feature, I mean, there is one important and one interesting feature introduced in Java 12th edition. So do you know any feature which is introduced in Java 12th edition? So we discussed about J shell, right? We discussed about J shell, which is introduced in Java 7 or 8, I forgot. And we discussed about something, anonymous class. I mean, we discussed about at the rate of override keyboard. These are the new things that that introduced in Java. Okay, so here one of the most interesting topic, okay, introduced in Java SE 12th edition. Okay, when you are using Java SE 12th edition in your laptop, okay, you can use this particular thing. Okay, so let me ask one thing to you. Okay, so um, okay, so I want to print. Okay, I want to print name of the day. Okay, I want to print name of the day. So how can I print name of the day? So for example, like user inputs is 0, then I can print Sunday. If user input is 1, I can print Monday. If user inputs 2, I can print Tuesday. Okay, so now I want to check. Now I want to check. Okay, something like if user enters Monday, then I have to print 1. If user wants to print Tuesday, I mean, if user input is Tuesday, then I want to print something like 2. If user inputs is Wednesday, then I want to print 3. So how can I achieve that? So I can write it for you. So we are all aware of like how to print name of the day, right? Name of the day. Okay, if I enter 0, then you have to print Sunday. Okay, if I entered 1, you have to print Monday. Okay, if I enter 2, you have to print Tuesday. Okay, now I want to do vice versa of this program. Okay, I'll give you Monday. Okay, I'll give you Monday, so you have to print 1. Okay, you have to print 1. So if I give you Tuesday, you have to print 2. If I gave you Wednesday, okay, you have to print 3. Okay, so this is how you need to print the output. Okay, can you do it for I mean, can you do this task? How can you achieve this particular output? How to write a code for this output? So user input must be the day, I mean, name of the day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or something. Okay, you have to print the number of the specific day. Like if user enters Monday, you have to print 1. If user enters Tuesday, you have to print 2. If user enters Wednesday, you have to print 3. If user input is, Thursday, 4. Okay, if user input is Sunday, then you have to print 0. So how to achieve this program in Java? How to achieve? Basically, in the in the switch statement, you can use any type of, any type of integer, short, okay, long. So you can use any type of variable, okay, and you can use character also. But before Java SE 12th edition or before Java SE 11th edition, before 11th edition, you cannot use strings in the switch statement. You cannot use strings in the switch statement. Okay, so they introduced strings in the switch statement from Java 11th version, and they introduced one important switch statement, which is a expression level switch statement. Expression level switch statement in Java SE12. Okay, from SE12, they introduced one new concept called expression level switch statement. Okay, so this expression level statement, switch statement is, so is completely differ. I mean, completely differ that we are using our regular switch statement. Okay, so can you I mean, can you print the perfect output of switch statement without using break? I want to print perfect output without using break statement in the switch. Can you do it? Hello, can I get any response, please? I want to print perfect output, okay, by using switch statement, but without using break in the switch. Okay, no from Rahul. What about others' opinion? Can you print?
No,
Not
sir.
possible.
No, sir.
Okay, so that is not possible basically. So, but it is possible by using this expression level switch statement. You don't need to use break statement in the switch from Java SC12. Okay, so let's off this expression level switch statement. Okay, which is introduced in Java SC12. Okay, which is a very new concept, which is a very interesting concept also. Okay, let's write some basic program about this. Okay, so see, I'm creating something um, class expression switch. Okay, and I'm creating one main method, public static void main, and which is expecting some arguments. Okay, and here I'm writing something, so I'm writing switch statement. Okay, so here I'm using the help of uh, you know something like forgot the name, command line arguments. Okay, so I want to read the string from the user, so no need to use the external string, no need to read the scanner class and all. Okay, already we are having string type of variables by in the form of command line arguments, so I'm using command line arguments here, args of 0. Okay, arguments of 0, I mean, so I'm comparing the first element. Okay, so if case equal to Sunday. Okay, if case equal to Sunday, okay, actually, okay, I'm writing the traditional switch statement. Okay, I'm writing the traditional switch statement. That means our regular switch statement. Okay, so let me write the traditional switch statement. It is day 1, day 0. Okay, something like this, and we have to use the break here. Okay, then case Monday, then we can write something, system.out.println and break single from day 1. Okay, I'm very good at copy and paste, so don't feel bad about this. Tuesday, and it is day 2, and Wednesday, and which is also day 3. Okay, and I'm writing some default statement. Okay, that's it. I don't want to write anything. So system.out.println. um, Invalid there. Okay, something like invalid there. So default statement doesn't need any break statement, that you know already. Okay, and I want to end up the. So yes, save this program as you know. So it is 16th August 08 22, and I'm typing expression switch dot java. Okay, expression switch dot java. Let's open command prompt. Java space expression switch dot java, and I'm giving Sunday here. Okay, I'm giving Sunday at the command line. Okay, so this is a command line argument that you know already. When you pass a variable at the time of running a program, okay, that variable is known as a command line argument. Okay, so here I'm providing Sunday as a command line argument and just hit the enter. So we got day 0 because we entered Sunday. Okay, let's enter something, Saturday. Okay, I'm entering Saturday. So it has to print invalid day because we are not writing any statement for Saturday. Okay, so everything clear, right? Everything is clear, right, in this program. This is a very basic program that that we write regularly, right? So here I don't want to use this break statement. Okay, I don't want to use this break statement. So just remove the break statement from this program. Okay, we are not having any break statements. So let's compile and pass some input. Okay, so here I'm providing Sunday. Okay, so when we are entering Sunday, we got entire output day 0, day 1, day 2, day 3, invalid day because the match found it very first statement. So it avoids all the switch cases and prints the all the bodies of the switch cases. Okay, so that's why we are getting output like this. So we don't want to get this. Okay, we need a perfect output, right? So by using expression switch statement, okay, expression level switch statement, you can avoid this problem. Okay, you can avoid this problem. You can write something like this. Okay, we can write the expressions. Okay, so I'm using arrow marks here. Okay, I don't want to use colons now. Okay, I'm using arrow marks. So let's compile and run this program. See, we got same output as earlier. So let me enter something, Monday. So we got day 1. Okay, I'm entering Friday. We have to, we have to print invalid day. It is invalid there. See, without using break statement, we can print perfect output for the switch statement. Okay, this is meant by okay, this is meant by something like, I forgot the thing. Regular switch statement. Okay, are you okay with the syntax? So just remove the colon between the case and your body. Okay, just use the arrow marks. Hyphen along with left angle back, sorry, right angle back. Okay, boys and girls, are you okay with it? This is
Yes,
called
sir.
okay, something expression level switch statement. Okay, you can improve something, you can improve something like, so we didn't have any case for Saturday and Friday, right? So I'm entering Saturday here. Saturday. Okay, and I'm giving Friday also. Okay, if user inputs is Saturday, then you have to print day 0. If user enters Friday, then you have to print day 0 again. Okay, So let's compile this. I'm giving Friday. See, it is printing day 0. Okay, you can avoid, so you can avoid something like logical operators. When you are using the regular, I mean, when you are writing a basic switch statement, you have to write something like this case, something, Sunday, okay, case Sunday, or logical or. We are using logical or here, okay, case Monday. We have to write this type of syntax in our regular switch statement, right? So you don't need to write this type of statements anymore. Okay, you can write a statement like this. Okay, you can use comma, you can use a separator for separate the different statements of a cases. Okay, so you can check like this, it allows you. Okay, this is also we can write. Okay, there are a lot of new features introduced in Java 12 and Java 17 and 18. So we have to discuss these things. Okay, so these are the interesting things, no? So when someone asks you about please write a simple Java program for a switch statement or something, if they ask you like this, okay, you can write this type of logic. You can use expression level switch statement. Okay, they definitely got surprised because many of the people, I mean, in the 100, 80% of people don't know about these things, I think so. Okay, these are the new features, we have to explore the new features of Java. Okay, because I didn't find Java ninth version. Okay, I didn't go through the Java ninth version. We had a mistake when we are dealing with wrapper classes. Did you remember that? So I'm using the basic wrapper class statement, like, integer I equal to new integer, something like that. Okay, but that new integer concept is avoided. That is removed from Java ninth version. But we don't know that. I don't know that. So we got an error when we are dealing with wrapper classes. So we will write something new, okay, which is introduced in Java 9 version. So you have to go through the new features. You have to go through the new content. Okay. So don't concentrate on the same old school concepts. Okay. So write things like this. Definitely, like, the technical interview or someone who asks you, definitely they will surprise. Okay, these are the new features. Okay, and we can avoid these multiple output statements as well. Okay, I think you guys are aware of return statement, right? So did you remember the return statement, how we are returning the values? So did you remember it, how we are returning something from one method to another method? Return type, we had a return types like void, integer, float, boolean, anything. So did you remember the return statement to return some value to the method call? No one. Guys, do you have any idea about return statement? Returning values to one method to another method. So how do you explain integer? I mean, from the, okay, like you can go with the new documentation, like, Java doc, Java documentation from Oracle. You can go through this type of documentations. Okay, so see, Java SC12 documentation Oracle. Okay, so go through the new features that introduced in SC12. Okay, so like this you can go classes or something. Mhm. Okay, see. Or you can set something here, new feature. Mhm. Actually, every time when I'm going to with the new features, so Java 12 new features. in Oracle. Okay, I'll search like this. Okay, I'll explore the things. Okay, they release everything. Okay, Java ST, the release notes. Okay, in the release notes you can get all the things. See, new features and environments, 7 new scripts involved. Okay, you can go through this type of documentations. Okay, they will redirect you some other web pages within the Oracle only. So when you are exploring the new features, better to go with these documentations only. Okay, so when you are designing something like web applications, you have to go through the MDN documentations, MDN web docs. Okay, MDN web documents is are the best in the world. Okay, if you want to explore the new features of JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and all, okay, you have to go through this MDN documentation. If you want to go through the new document, proper documentation of Java, then go through the Oracle documentation. Okay, because these are all the vendors, specific vendors. Okay, so Node.js or Angular, they didn't have any vendor documentations. Okay, MDN stands for Mozilla Development Network, and Oracle, that already. Okay, so better to go with this proper documentation only. Okay, see, they introduce something like command line flags also. Okay, so if you want to see this thing, so click on the link they provided. I think it takes time. Okay. Mm-mm. There it is. No. Mm-mm. Okay. Maybe there is something. So, okay. It's for Oracle documentation only. I mean, you can go through some, some external websites also, but this is a not recommended thing. Okay. So, see, these are the new features of Java 12. Okay. So, search this statement in, search this thing in Oracle. You know, switch expressions, Java, Oracle. So here you got the thing. See, this is what we are discussing now. Okay, you can go through Oracle documentation only. Okay, so better to follow proper documentation. Don't go with some websites like Java T Point, Tutorials Point, W3 Schools. Don't go with these things. Okay, these guys are a shit. Okay, so just took the reference from the Google and search it in the Oracle documentation. So Oracle documentation is the best on the planet. Okay, or if you want to read proper things, you can go through the book like first head, Java by Ketisera. Okay, if you buy these books, okay, so it will help you for sure. Okay, so please buy the recent version. Okay, see, this is the version which is introduced in June 1st, 2022. Okay, you can go through this type of documentation. See, so this is the Java 17th version, covers Java 8 to Java 17th. So better to buy this type of books. Okay, so these are the new books. Don't follow something like complete reference Java. Okay, complete reference by Java. Okay, these books are shit. Really, trust me. Don't buy or don't use these type of books. So better to use the books which is by Kethi Sera only. Okay, so see, The author of this book is Ketisara. Okay, better to go with this type of books when you want to read a proper, books. So don't go with any other books, or don't go with any other author. Okay, these books are a bit costly, but worth. Okay, it is a proper worth. So if you want to download the PDFs, you have LibGen, right? Okay, search those books in the libgen.io. Okay, you'll download. You can download the PDF version of those books. Okay, we have LibGen. I already told you about this website. Okay, better to download that book from these types of libraries. Okay, you'll get all the new features. But every time, but when I get a free time, I'll explore the Google. I'll search for something like what are the new concepts in Java 12, what are the new concepts in Java 13. I'll search like that. If any, I mean, if I found anything interesting, okay, I'll tell you in the, okay, I'll explain you those things in the later sessions. Okay, I too don't know, but I'll Google it. That's it. Okay, we have Google, so no need to worry about anything. So just Google it. But we have to follow proper documentation, proper books or documentation source. That's it. Okay, so these are the new concept which is introduced in Java 12. Okay, and we can avoid these multiple, okay, these multiple output statements. See, I'm removing everything. Just I'm giving day 0. Okay, so I think you guys are remember about switch state, I mean return values. So this particular thing returns to someone. Okay, so no need to write thing for default statement. Okay, so here I am creating one string type of variable. Okay, I am creating one string type of variable which is a result. Okay, I want to store the result of this switch statement within this result variable. Okay, result of this switch statement with this result variable. And when you are returning some value, you have to end the switch statement with semicolon. This is compulsory. If you miss the semicolon, it will raise an error. Okay, so you have to use the semicolon when you are returning the value to a string or someone. Okay, so I can print result here. System dot out dot println result. See, we avoided multiple switch, I mean multiple output statement. We are printing only one output statement. Okay, same, it will also print same thing. Uh-oh. So we have to save this, I think so. Okay, default incompatible. Okay, so we have to remove this also. Okay, see, when you are entering Friday, it has to print day 0. CLS, just CLS. I am giving Monday. What will be the output? It has to print day 1. So day 1. So let's check for Sunday or something. Sunday, we got day 0. So everything we have in this result variable. This result variable can store the result of this switch statement. So here we are returning a one value to that result variable. Okay, so this is how you can remove, I mean you can decrease the number of lines, you can decrease the complexity of your code. Okay, so do you need to write multiple I mean those output statements for multiple times. You can print output statement for one time, and you can print you can directly print the result. Okay, so this is how we can customize the code. Okay, so these are, I mean, please follow this type of syntax. Okay, when you are writing switch statement from the next class onwards. Okay, guys, are you okay with this? Any doubts?
Yes, sir.
Sir, please can you explain case Sunday, Saturday, and Friday again once?
Okay, so actually we have to write this particular syntax as when you are writing the basic switch statement, no, right? You can write a basic switch statement like this. marks of 0. Okay, if you want to print same value for a different value, different cases, you can write like this: case Sunday. Okay, even it is case Sunday, even it is case Saturday, I want to print it is as a weekend. Saturday, even it is Friday. Okay, Friday is also weekend, so I can print Friday also. Okay, for all these three cases we have only one output, that is SOP, it is weekend. Okay, so when we are getting these three values in the switch statement, we have to print same statement, so that's why we are using a logical operator. Okay, so logical or operator, either case Sunday or case Saturday or case Friday. So we have to compare like this, but in the expression level switch statement you can avoid these multiple things, like so case Sunday, comma, or Saturday, Saturday, or Friday. Okay, both is similar, so no need to write case and no need to use the logical operators as we use in the regular switch statement. Okay, in our regular switch statements you have to write the, I mean, first syntax, but when you are using expression level switch statement you have to write this second statement. Okay, so this gives extra burden to the processor, like we are giving extra operators, we are checking for extra cases, so that's why we are giving extra burden to the processor in the first line of code. But when you are following this second syntax, we are not giving any extra operators, we are not giving any extra cases. In only one case we are writing, we are checking for the multiple things. So it's, I mean, the time taken for this particular thing will be very 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 small, very very lesser than the above statement. Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
both are similar in working but different in syntax, that's it.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Okay, is everything clear, right? In expression level switch statement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go with, today we have to discuss about exception handling and a basic project creation in the Spring Tool Suite. I think we already created one project in the Spring Tool Suite, right? We had a discussion on that, I think so. But so I mean, I mean, so we had a long weekend. In the meanwhile, I think you forgot the things. Okay, I will explain you how to configure a new project in the Spring Tool Suite, and we will write some code in it. Okay, I think on Friday we didn't write any code in the Spring Tool Suite, but now today we can write some code. Okay, we can configure some new project. Okay, in the Spring Tool Suite, and I'll give you the extra features. Okay, the new features of Spring Tool Suite as well. Okay, so let's go. So first, let me complete with exception handling. Then we can have a discussion on those Spring Tool Suite techniques. Hmm. Okay, so what is meant by exception handling, ma? Exception handling.
It handles runtime errors.
Okay, handle runtime measures. Okay, okay,
In which we use try and catch and throw blocks like.
okay. Okay, so let me ask another thing. So what is a runtime exception? What is a compile time exception? What are those? What is meant by exception?
Error.
Is exception and error are both are same? Here I am
Sir,
writing.
error can be compile time or runtime, whereas exception must be in runtime.
Okay, very good. Hmm. Anything? Any other thing about this error and exception? Okay, very good. What you have told is exactly correct. So error is nothing but, okay, error is in nothing but Okay, it may be the syntax error or missing of semicolons, you know. So error must be the syntactical sugar of your program, okay, which will check at the compile time of the program. Okay, error must be the syntactical sugar of your program, which will check at compile time. Okay, so during the compile time we are going to convert the java file into somewhat bit code or a class file, something like that, right? So error is checked at compile time, but this exception, okay, may not be because of the syntactical sugar. Okay, exception may occur by by the data which is entered by the user. Okay, for example, you wrote the entire program correctly, but you are importing one class. Okay, you are importing one class, but the class is not found. Okay, so for some particular, you have assume you are having two different files. Okay, you have two files. So in the two files, okay, I mean one file consists of something like bank class. Okay, bank class, and another file, okay, you have customer class. Okay, you have customer class. Now you are creating a object for bank class in the customer class. Okay, object for bank class in the customer class. In this time, so I mean, so it is correct, but unexpectedly you wrote capital B here. Okay, so capital B. So this particular thing may raised one exception. Okay, even that is a correct syntax to create an object of a class, but so there you mentioned one bank class, no, there you mentioned one keyword which is a bank. Okay, which is not available in the your program, which is not available in your project. So at this time it will raise one exception. Okay, it will raise one exception as class not found, as class smartphone. Okay, this exception doesn't damage your project. Okay, this exception doesn't damage your project. Okay, but error can damage your project. Okay, so by using error, I mean you are not able to convert your java file into, okay, a class file or something. But by using exception, okay, even if you are having any exceptions in your code, you can still you can still convert your java code into the class file, but you are unable to run this file. Okay, so when you are dealing with errors, okay, error is a syntactical error, syntactical sugar, which will check at compile time, compile time. Okay, error causes damages like not converting into class, okay, into class file or a byte code. Okay, but exception, okay, but exception is an event, okay, which interrupts the running of the, okay, running of something like, I can write this. Exception is an event, okay, it is on basic event which interrupts, which interrupts execution flow of the program. Okay, see, when you are having error, you can't have a class file, but when you are having exception, you can have a class file, but you are unable to run those class file because you are having some exceptions in it. Okay, error causes damages to your project. Okay, because you are unable to create a class file because you are having some errors in it. But having an exception, okay, when you're having an exception, okay, still you can create a class file, but okay, there will be a mistakes, there will be obstacles during the running of the program. So exceptions may occur during the runtime of the program, but errors may occur during the compile time of the program. Okay, this is a major difference between errors and exceptions. Okay, so if you have any errors, no, so Java compiler will indicate you about that error. But if you have an exception, okay, if you have an exception, okay, so Java compiler doesn't know about your exception. It will raise something, some trash on your command line. Okay, so this exception doesn't know by the Java compiler, so we have to handle this exception by our own. Okay, so we don't need to handle these errors by our own. Java compiler knows the errors because Java compiler has the syntax of a Java program, but exceptions may raised during the execution time, like during the runtime of the program. So Java compiler may not aware of these type of exceptions, so we have to handle these types of exceptions. Okay, like class not found, stack overflow mistakes, stack overflow, something like, array index out of bound. Okay, we can have a different types of exceptions. Okay, we can go through the different types, but these exception doesn't know by the Java compiler, so we have to handle these exceptions by our own. Okay, we have to handle these exceptions by our own thing. Okay, to handle these exceptions, we have a one mechanism called exception handling in Java. Okay, to handle these exceptions, we have a one new mechanism, okay, in Java, which is a exception handling. Okay, exception handling is the mechanism of handling the mechanism of handling the exceptions by our own. Okay, we have to handle. Okay, Java compiler or JVM doesn't know about these exceptions, so we have to write something, we have to handle it. Okay, so to handle these types of exceptions, we have one special mechanism, which is a exception handling. Okay, but here we have to know the different types of exceptions. Okay, we have two types of exceptions in Java. We have two types of exceptions in Java. So any guess? Any guess? Two types of exceptions in Java.
Built-in and user-defined.
No, it is a, I can call this as a checked exception and unchecked exception. Okay, so checked exception and unchecked exception. Okay, so literally checked exceptions, okay, is about the, okay, so I explained you about the thing like file not found. Okay, if you are writing, okay, if you are reading one data, okay, if you are reading one data from a file, okay, so then, okay, your file is not found on the particular index or particular, location, then you can raise one error as file not found issue. Okay, these types of things, okay, uh, are checked exceptions. Okay, so when you are communicating with the database, okay, you can't find a one table which is mentioned in the program, so there you have to raise one exception which is a checked exception. Okay, class not found, file not found, table not found. Okay, these types of exceptions are checked exceptions. We have to check it. Okay, before executing that particular mechanism, we have to check for the thing. Okay, those types of exceptions are known as checked exceptions. Okay, but these unchecked exceptions, okay, unchecked exceptions are, okay, array index after bound, arithmetic exception, okay, IO exception. Okay, these are the different types of unchecked exceptions. Okay, so see, checked exception. Okay, these checked exceptions we have to check during the compile time of the program. Okay, so we have to check exceptions during the compile time of the program, then that exceptions is known as checked exceptions. Okay, when we are checking an exception during compile time, during compile time, then that type of exceptions are known as checked exceptions. Okay, so some examples for the checked exceptions are, table not found, class not found, okay, and I forgot, file not found, and etc etc. Okay, these are the different, I mean, checked exception things. Okay, coming to the unchecked exceptions. Okay, unchecked exceptions are not checked at compile time. Okay, unchecked expressions are not checked at the compile time. Okay, so some example for these, I mean, unchecked exceptions are, array index out of bound, and arithmetic, and so on. Okay, these are the unchecked exceptions. Okay, so these unchecked exceptions may be occurred, okay, by the data which is entered by the user. Okay, unchecked exceptions may be, okay, unchecked exceptions may be occurred when we are reading the data from the user. Okay, so assume you are reading, I mean, you are designing a one application. Okay, assume you are designing one application. Okay, so in the application you have to divide the numbers by using the user's input. Okay, so something like, you have x, which is a 5, and you have y, is 0. Okay, so these x and y values are taken from the user's input. Okay, so you are performing x divided by y. Okay, x divided by y. So anything by 0, which is, what is the result of this thing? Anything by 0, which is 0. Anything by 0?
0.
No, not at all.
What
Divided
defines,
by,
sir?
sir, divided by 0 can be 0.
Divided by 0, you can get the infinite, infinity value. You cannot divide any number with 0, right? Since our computers doesn't have an infinity. Okay, so our computer doesn't have infinite, okay, value. So it will raise one exception called arithmetic exceptions. Arithmetic exceptions. Okay, you are dividing, you are dividing with 0, which is impossible in computer science. Okay, these types of exceptions is known as the unchecked exceptions. Okay, these types of exceptions are known as unchecked exceptions. Okay, these types of exceptions, okay, we may not get in the compile time, because, okay, this is a legal statement, but by using the user's input. Okay, when you are reading the user input, okay, while running the program only, now after running the program only, you will get a user's input. By user's input, okay, based on your user's input, okay, you have one exception. Okay, so these type of exceptions we may not get in the, something in checked exceptions or something in a compiled them. Okay, we may not aware of these types of exceptions when you are compiling the code. Okay, these exceptions, okay, occurred because of the user's input. Okay, so these types of exceptions are known as the unchecked exceptions. Coming to the array index of the bound. Okay, since you have one array which is a length of 5, but user input is 6. Okay, users want to access sixth element in the array, but you have only 5 elements in the array, so which is an exception. Okay, based on the user's input. Okay, if you raise any exception based on the user's input, then that type of exceptions is known as the unchecked exceptions. But in the checked exceptions, this is not the fault of user, this is the fault of us, because we are writing something which is not defined. Okay, you are reading the data from the table which is not defined in the database. Okay, you are creating the object for a class which is not defined in our project, so it is completely our mistake. So these types of exceptions can check at the compile time, but these types of exceptions can check at the during the runtime. Okay, because This is these types of exceptions may occur based on your user's input. Okay, so these types of exceptions is known as the unchecked exceptions. Okay, unchecked exceptions. Okay, so to handle these types of checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions, we have our mechanism, which is an exception handling. Okay, so our exception handling is mainly used to maintain the normal flow of the program. Maintain the normal flow of the program. Okay, so which is meant by exception handling is mainly used to maintain the normal flow of the program. Okay, which defines, okay, let's assume you are having 10 statements. Okay, you are having 10 statements. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, statement 4, statement 5, and statement 6. Let's assume you are having 6 only. Okay, okay, so one two, there is no exception in the first two statements of the program, but there is an exception in the third statement. Okay, there is an exception in the third statement. So if you are having any exceptions, but if you are not handling those exceptions, okay, if you are not handling those exceptions, okay, these 4, 5, 6 statements of your program, okay, the statements which is 4, 5, 6, okay, these are also not going to execute. Okay, when you are having a issue with the third statement, the next all the statements, okay, next all the statements are going to corrupt. Okay, these 4, 5, 6 statements are not going to execute in the JVM, not going to execute in the processor. Okay, so this is a serious issue. So we have to, okay, handle these issue. Okay, even if you are having an exception in the third statement, still if you want to execute these 4, 5, 6, okay, still if you want to execute those next statements, so you have to handle this exception. Okay, you have to handle this exception by using our exception handling methodologies. Okay, by using our exception handling methodologies. Okay, so let's go with the what are the different things that involved in exception handling. Okay, so are you clear with all this? What is meant by exception handling? What is meant by checked and unchecked exceptions? What is the difference between error and exception? Guys, are you clear with it? Exception versus error. And we have two types of exceptions, checked exception and unchecked exceptions. Then we are discussing about importance of exception handling. Is that okay, or
Yes.
do you have any issues? Yes, Ketan. Guys, are you clear with it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go to the some important keywords or some important blocks of exception handling. So do you know what are the different keywords that we are going to use in exception handling? I think many of the people know aware of that. What
Try,
are the?
throw,
Yes, very good. Try
right,
keyword. Hmm.
main.
Hmm.
Catch.
Catch, very good. Okay, we can write something. So keyword and description. Okay, okay, different types of exception handling keywords and their description. So first keyword, that is try block. Okay, what is the use of try block, ma? What is the use of try block? You know it, right? Just guess it, no? A blind guess.
I think, sir, try block is used to and find the error. I think
To find the,
error in the
okay,
runtime.
okay, very good. Something, somewhat is correct. So
It
this try
contains
block,
those
it defines.
it contains those statements which causes the exception.
Very good. Okay. So you're a developer, right? So you know which line of a code maybe occurred, which line of code can raise the exception. Okay, so that line of code which may raise an exception during the runtime or a compile time, so you have to mention them in the try block. Okay, so this try keyword is used to specify a block of code where we should get an exception, where we should get an exception. Okay, exception. Uh, okay, let's come to the new thing, so which is a catch. Okay, yeah. So what is the use of this catch?
Sir, it handles the exception, the
Very good.
block, all the.
Very good. Use it to handle the exception. Use it to handle the exception which raised, which raised in try block. Okay, if any exception is raised in the try block, no, then we should catch that exception by using our catch block. We can write any number of catch blocks. Okay, you can write, you can, I mean, so if you are having multiple lines of a code in the try, okay, those lines may have different types of exceptions. So you can write many number of catch statements as you want. Okay, and we have one important keyword called throw. Okay, so what is the use of throw keyword? Use it to define. Come on, use it to define, not define. You can say use it to throw and user defined exception. Okay, throw is a keyword which is used to define, which is used to throw and user defined exception. And we have throws. Okay, so throws is a keyword which declares the user defined exception. Okay, use it to declare, use it to declare user defined exception. Okay, so which will raised at the throw statement. Okay, we have to specify this throw statement, sorry, throw statements at the method declaration. Use it with method okay, and we have another important thing called finally. Okay, finally. So what is the use of finally?
In this block, sir, the code will execute.
Hmm. Okay. So here I told you about the different statements, no? So here these 4, 5, 6 are the different statements you want to execute even an exception raised or not. Okay, if you are having exception, you should execute these 4, 5, 6 statements. Okay, even if you are not having any exception, so you have to execute these 4, 5, 6 statements. Okay, you have to execute these statements, okay, at any cost. Okay, even it is raised an exception, even yeah, there is no exceptions, but you have to execute these statements. Okay, so these types of exceptions, okay, these types of exceptions is not, sorry, is handled by the final. Finally use it to execute something necessary code of the program. Okay, it is executed uh, whether you know an exception raised or not. Okay, so these are the important keywords that we have in exception handling. So try block, catch block, throw, throws, finally. Okay, so let's have a look on programming there. Okay, I think this is the enough of theory. So let's write some basic code about this try block, catch block, and all. Okay, chalo. So I'm creating something, so something like calci, okay, our regular program calci, public static environment standards, okay. So you are reading, assume you are reading two values from the user, okay. So that's why I'm creating scanner class here. Scanner b is equal to new scanner, okay, and something like system dot out dot println enter value of x, and we have to read the value of x from the user, okay. bs dot next int, and copy करो paste करो for y also, y, okay, and we have y statement also. Now I am using int z, okay. So z equal to x by y, okay, x by y, and I want to print something, this is an exception handling program. We are writing some basic statements after the operation, okay. So let's save this program, and we have to import scanner class. Okay. And at the end of the code we have to close the object bs.close. calc.java, okay, we saved our program, okay. So let's compile and run it. Java space calc.java, and I am giving, okay, 5 and 0, okay. I am giving x as a 5 and y as a 0. So here, sorry, it doesn't take the value, okay. So we are not using command line arguments, no. So enter value of x, and I am giving the value of y also 0. So here we got one error. See, exception thread in main, okay, which is arithmetic exception divided by 0. Okay, you cannot divide any variable by 0. Okay, which raises an exception. Because of this exception, our statement, no, so we have to print this statement at any cost. Okay, we have to print this statement at any cost by using, okay, because of this, because of this particular block, okay, because of this particular line, our next statement is not going to execute because we have one exception in this line. So we have to handle this because we want to execute all the remaining code in our program, okay. We want to execute all the remaining code in our program, so we have to handle the exception here, okay. So let's try it. Try, within the block of try we have to mention this z, okay. So I mean try is used to specify the, I mean, block of code where we should get an error, where we should get an exception. So here we are getting an exception, so I am writing try block here, okay. You cannot write try block alone, okay. You have to write something to try block, that is catch, okay. You cannot write try block alone. So here you don't know about the syntax, you don't know about the error, right? So you can use exception e, okay. Here we are printing exception e, okay. In the exception e you can print something, e, okay. After executing exception, okay, so we are having our next line of code. So let's save this and run it. So have to enter x value which is a 10 and y value which is a 0, okay. See, we got one thing, okay. So arithmetic exception by 0. Okay, even after having the exception, we are going to print the line of code. Okay, we are going to print the line of code. Okay, so just remove one statement, try to print something like 12 and 2. Okay, so there is no issue. Even we are giving some random values, still we are getting 30. So java dot lang dot arithmetic exception, okay, divided by 0. Okay, so this is how you need to handle the exception. Even after having the exception, we are going to print the our next statement, right? So even after having the exceptions, we are printing the statement. Okay, so these types of things you can achieve by using exception handling. We handle one exception there, so that exception we are printing there. Okay, is that okay? This is the basic program to achieve somewhat, exception handling. Are you okay with this? So we used a try block and a catch block. Okay, so which are the basic things for an exception handling. And you can use this, finally you can use finally statement also. See, I'm printing something, system dot out dot printer. Hello. Okay, I want to print hello. Even I had an exception, or even I didn't have an exception, I want to print hello at any cost. Okay, see, we are printing hello at any cost. So this is the use of finally keyword. Okay, finally is the keyword which is used to specify the block of code. Okay, where the execution of the block of code is mandatory, even we are having an exception, even you are not having any exception. Okay, so this is the use of three different blocks in our application. Okay, so are you okay with the syntax, guys? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So now we can have a discussion on throws keyword. Okay, so throws is a keyword which is used to raise an exception, right? So let's use the throws keyword. Okay. Mm, so can I remove this program? Can I remove everything from here? Or if you want to note anything, just note. Or if you want to take a screenshot, just take a screenshot. Otherwise I can remove this thing. Okay, so assume you are reading the age of the user, enter age. Okay, you are designing a one application called, something like online voting system. Okay, so system dot out dot println. Okay, online voting system. Okay? And I want to print something design, some designs. So we are reading the age. Okay, if user's age, okay, if user age is greater than, okay, if user age is greater than 18, then we can allow him to vote. Okay, if age is less than 18, then we are not going to allow to vote him. Okay, so we have to compare the age. If age is less than 18, if age is less than 18, we have to do something. Okay, else we need to ask him to cast his vote. Okay, and tell him you can vote. Okay, so if user age is less than 18, no, now I want to print something here. Okay, now I want to print something. Okay, so which is, throws, sorry, throw new automatic exception, new automatic exception as age is not enough to vote. So I want to check all these things in the another method. Okay, So I'm creating another method here. Check for vote. Okay, check for vote and check for vote expecting some age. Public boolean. Okay, I'm passing boolean variable. Okay, I'm returning boolean variable to the method. Public static boolean check for vote int age. Okay, so if user age is less than 18, then we can raise an exception. Otherwise, we can true. Return true here. Okay, so if it is true, okay, if the value of the statement is true, then I can print something here. Okay, system dot out dot println. Okay, system dot out dot println. So I think I can write here now. Mm, eligible. Okay. Okay, so let's compile and run this program. Oh, missing something. Okay, semicolons. Okay, this semicolon, mixing of brackets, these are all the errors, not an exception. See, you can enter the age. So I'm giving something, 19. So we got eligibility. Okay. So if I enter like something like 15, so there is an exception. See, age is not enough to vote. Okay, here we are raising. Okay, we are providing one user defined exception. Okay, so this type of user defined exception can be raised by using the throw keyword. Okay, by using throw keyword, you can raise one user defined exception. Okay, is it okay, boys and girls? So silence. See, I'm reading the user age. Okay, I'm reading the user age here, and I want to check the eligibility. If the eligibility is true, okay, if the eligibility is true, then I can print eligible in the output statement. Okay, if it is not, okay, we can raise an exception. So here I created a check for vote method, okay, where we are returning one boolean value. Okay, if age is greater than 18, then we can pass return true because we are passing the boolean value. If the return is true, okay, if we got a true, okay, then we can print eligible in the screen. If it is not, if user age is less than 18, then here we are, okay, we are raising one error. Okay, this error, this type of exceptions is known as user defined exceptions. In the previous case, no, so we are not declaring, we are not raising any error. Automatically by using our data it raises some errors, but here we are we are we are intentionally, okay, by using our intention, by using our logic, we are raising one error. Okay, so you can raise any error, you can raise any type of, user defined error by using our throw keyword. Okay, so throw is a keyword which is used to generate user defined errors. Okay, I think you got the difference between system defined errors and user defined errors. Is that okay,
Yes,
guys?
sir.
Is it
Yes, sir.
throw keyword? If you are having any doubt, no, please let me know, I will explain you. So please go through the program.
Sir, why we use new keyword?
Why we use?
New.
So we are creating a kind of arithmetic exception, so that's why we are generating new arithmetic exception, no? So that's why, so this new keyword creates one new instance for the arithmetic exception. Okay, is arithmetic
Okay,
exception is predefined. So I am defining one new type of arithmetic exception. So we have arithmetic exception like when you are dividing any number with 0, but right now you have one new arithmetic exception when user age is less than 18. So we are creating new instance to the arithmetic exception. So that's why I'm using new.
Sir, what is arithmetic exception? If we want to print only the age is not enough to vote, so we can use simply the system out dot println and the age is not enough to vote.
Yeah, you can print, but so it won't raise any exception, no? So we need exceptions. Okay, so when user age is not less than 18 or something, we want to stop the execution flow by printing the just one output statement. How can you print the execution flow? How can you stop the execution flow of the program?
Okay, sir. For stop the execution flow, so we
Yeah.
need.
So if user age is less than 18, you can stop. That's it. So how
Okay,
can
sir.
we stop user? By using system.out.println. No. So we can print just a message in that case. But here we can end the end the program. We can end the flow of the execution because
Okay,
you have an exception. But like for that cases, you have to use an exception.
okay, sir.
By simply you can print it. By simply user age is not enough. You can print that, but you cannot exit the execution flow by printing the statements. Okay.
Okay,
Like so when the password is not matched in the ATM machine, okay, so it is the transaction is going to fail. The transaction is going to exit from the normal execution in the ATMs. It is not only printing the wrong password or something. So in that type of situations you have to write.
okay, sir.
Okay, guys, is that okay? Please, if you are having any doubt now, please ask me now. Okay, after coming from the break, okay, so we can elaborate this concept. We can elaborate this concept by creating some project. Okay, so we can we add output for the system execution? Can we add output for system? Yeah, you can print. Okay, system exception. I didn't get it, Nishant. Can you elaborate, Nishant? Okay, I think so. When we are having a system exception, system raised exceptions, you want to print something. You want to use some output statement, isn't it? If we cannot divide, uh,
Yes, sir. Like that.
okay, okay. So sorry, I'll give it. um, Okay, I'll remove everything from this. Okay, I'm just declaring two values. Okay, x equal to 10 and y equal to 0. Okay, so here I am writing z equal to x by y, where we will get an one system defined exception. Okay, so here you can use catch. You have to catch the exception first, and you can print something. Okay, system dot out dot println not possible. Okay, something like this. Okay, let's compile and run this. Okay, so we have to declare get. See, we are printing the statement. No? Not possible. That's it. But you have to write a catch block for sure. Okay, so you can use. Nishant, are you clear? I think you asked this one only, no? Mission exception is important. Yes. If you didn't mention this exception, no, which type of exception you are catching? So exception is important, compulsory. Okay, you have to start any type of exception. So you can call arithmetic exception here. Okay. So I think here we have one method. I forgot the method name. E dot get message. I think so. Okay. See, without writing any statement in the output statement, so you simply can print the message which is mentioned in the arithmetic exception. Okay, get message is the default method of any exception. Okay, so you have to mention the exception for sure in the catch lock. You cannot write catch lock without exception. Okay, Nishant, okay. Okay. Very good. Anyone having any doubts? So we discussed about try, catch, new, and throw. We have to discuss about throws keyword. Okay, throws keyword. Okay, so like after having the break, I can explain you the project. Okay, we will create some basic project. In the basic project, we can have a discussion on the throws keyword. Okay, so let's have a quick break for 15 minutes. After coming from the break, we can have a discussion on throws keyword in the project. Is it okay, boys? Are you clear
Yes,
till
sir.
now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's have a quick break for 15 minutes. Okay, so I mean, so do you have any knowledge on the three-tier architecture? Like most of the people are from the computer science background, so I think in your
Yes, sir.
you have, yeah, so you have software engineering subject. No, in software engineering subject you have a three-layered architecture applications. We can create an entire application. Okay, we can create the n number of tiles in our application, but the basic application contains mainly three tiles: controller, presentation, view, so and so. MVC, model, view, controller. So did you have any idea about that? So we have to create a model logic, we have to create a view logic, we have to create a controller logic also. So today we are going to see that basic project about the this model view controller, how to create a model view controller type or three-tier application with the basic core Java. Okay, so we can have those discussions today. Okay, so yeah, let's complete throws keyword. So what is the use of throws keyword? Throws keyword is used to define the exception, right? So throws keyword is used to declare exception, user defined exception or any exception. Okay. So here we have in our method, no. So we have one check for vote method. This method raising one exception. Okay. This method raising one exception. So if you want to catch this exception, if you want to print this exception, okay. So you have to go through the some try block, you know. Let's go with the try block. Try. And just give me a minute. I will reframe this project. Okay. And we want to catch some exception. Okay. exception e, okay, and I want to print the exception message, system.out.println e dot get message, and if everything is good, no, so then I can go with execution of this statement. Okay. So same project I did. So I mean I'm using some one try block and all. That's it. Okay. So let's try to run this program. So enter age. I am giving 12 is my age. So we have one exception is age is not enough. Okay. So because we are having one message here. Okay. So by using our arithmetic exception, we are printing some message. Okay. We are printing the message which is we define in the arithmetic exception. Okay. So if you want to make more clear, okay, you can add some error to it. Okay. Error. I mean, it will be more clear to you to understand things. Okay, so we got one error which is error age is not enough to vote. Okay, so this particular method, okay, this particular check for vote method, okay, this method is raising one exception. Okay, this method raising one exception, no, so you have to declare one exception here as we are passing. Okay, we are declaring arithmetic exception, so you have to mention here as pros exception, which is a arithmetic exception. Let's declare arithmetic exception. Okay, so here we are informing the compiler, okay, where this method, okay, where this method can raise one particular exception, that is a arithmetic exception. So this is how you need to use the throws keyword. Throws keyword is used to define, okay, a user defined exception, okay, with the method declaration. When you are declaring a method where I mean an exception may occur, so you have to declare a throws keyword, because you have to inform the compiler. Okay, here maybe one exception may occur, so we are informing the compiler to ready with the exception. So this is the use of throws keyword to declare an exception when we are creating the methods. Okay, see, well, there is no change, but internally the throws keyword is informing the compiler. Okay, by internally the throws keyword informing the compiler about the, okay, maybe in this method you will have an exception like that. Okay, it informs the compiler to ready with the exception. Okay, so this is the reason we have to use the throws keyword. Throws keyword is used to define the exception where maybe an exception may occur during our method. Okay, so this is the different keywords that we have in exception handling. Okay, so by using this exception handling techniques and by using our oops techniques, okay, let's create a simple project in, okay, sts. I think you have downloaded and you have configured everything in the sts. Am I correct? So did you have any difficulty in installing or in using the sts? Okay, so today let's create a one simple STS, I mean Maven application. In the Maven application, we can write some code. Okay, okay,
Yes, sir. Maybe many students have facing issues for STS.
okay. Just let me know, no? What are the issues?
I
Yes, if
think,
you're.
sir, I think particular one person we have to share the screen, then start for projects.
Okay, okay. Yes,
It's
Rupa.
better.
Mm-hmm.
It's better, sir.
Okay, we'll try. Yes,
Sir,
Rupa.
if you could explain again
Okay, which
the
one? The
procedure.
installation part, or
Installation first.
Sir,
Because
installation
it
part.
was a lot, so it got mixed up. When I started doing, so it was all mixed.
Okay, okay. So as per Suraj said, so can you share your screen? I can guide you to install and configure. Rupa,
Share, sir.
Priyanshu.
I think me इसके share screen के other है, sir.
I'm not getting what you're asking.
Sir, I am a share the screen. Yeah, other particular person share the screen.
Okay. No, other person. I think you have installed, no, already.
I am not SS. I am already installed for Eclipse for enterprises.
Okay, okay. So let someone, by you have already had an idea, right?
Yes.
Let someone to share their screen. And the Priyanshu, Rupa. So Rupa, can you share your screen? I can explain it to you.
Sir, I can't. My network is not that much strong today
Okay,
because it's
okay.
thundering.
So, Priyanshu, can you share your screen?
Sir, I'm joined with my mobile. So
Could you
other one.
join with mobile, man? Okay,
Sir, I think me share the screen. I am record for the session. I will share the videos.
okay. No
Sir,
need to
yes.
record the things. It's very easy. It's very simple. Okay,
I know,
just a
sir. I
minute.
know, sir.
How many of you having issues with STS in installing STS, and Maven? Priyanshu had issue, Rupa had issue, what about others? And Prashant and Rahul also. Okay. Aman Singh, Renu. But why you are not telling to me? You have to inform me that. So can anyone can share your screen? Ankit, Rahul, Hemant, Prashant, or Suraj can be. But I want someone other than Suraj because Suraj already had an idea about that. So Renu, Prashant, Ankit, could you share your screen? Hemant, can you? There's someone voluntarily that. Come on, let's share. Ritika, you're present, but I'm marked as absent. I think so. Please tell me if I missed anyone in the attendance. Hmm. Come on. Who's going to share? Shall I go with Suraj or anyone? But I'm expecting
Yes, sir.
from. Yeah, just give me a minute, Suraj. Okay. I'm expecting someone to share the screen other than Suraj because Suraj already had an idea about Eclipse and all. So it's better someone to share the screen who has not idea in STS. Rahul, okay, Astos, can you?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I can configure STS and Marvel 2 Astos. Okay. Still, if you are having any issue, okay, Suraj can record the video. Suraj, can you record the video, while
Sir,
Yes,
I
sir.
have
I
to
am
sharing?
download it
just a
first.
start, sir. Just a start
Okay.
recording. One
Okay,
second.
Astos, you can share.
I have to download it first. I haven't downloaded it
No,
yet.
no, no. I'll guide you to download. No, so just share the
Okay.
screen. Don't worry.
So what was the name?
Type STS download. Just that's it. STS download. Yeah, yeah. The first one, Spring Tool Suite, and go through. mm, So type download. Yeah, 14.15.3.
Okay, we have to wait
Hmm.
until it downloads.
Okay, thank God we are having somewhat good connection. Hmm. So many people are going dull. Why? What's happening? You're not responding clearly. When we are starting the batch, so many people are, like so active. But today, many people are so quiet, including Ankit, Gunjan, Rupa also, Divya also. What's happening to you? Ankit, are you there? Can you unmute Ankit? And download Maven also, Astosh. Maven. Type Maven.
What's the spelling, sir?
Maven. 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 Yes, download. Hmm. So scroll down, scroll down. So
This
download the
one?
binary zip archive link. Binary zip archive link. Yes, that one. Okay, just extract it, extract, extract to any other folder, no, not in desktop or downloads. Okay, save it in your other disk like local disk D or local disk C, something. Browse, click on the browse.
Okay.
Okay, so go through the local disk D and create some folder like, create a folder like new folder. Mm, something like, Java practice or something. Mm. So select that folder, extract.
I'm sorry.
That's it. Mm. And okay, so go back to the downloads and copy the jar file you have downloaded.
Jar file.
Mm.
Uh,
Where did you
uh,
download the Spring Tools?
Let me check. I think that will be program. Nope. Wait.
Okay, go to the downloads. No, go to the downloads. No.
Oh, it's paused. It does not support resuming. Please start the download. I have to restart it, I think. Wait, wait. Control C.
In the meanwhile, we can set the path for Maven. Okay, so please open the D folder, like Maven folder, where we extracted the Maven. So first, okay, we need to set the path for the Maven. Okay, so please go to the local disk D and go to the Java practice folder that you have extracted. No, open and open the Apache. Okay, and copy the path. Copy the path from the address bar. Yes, copy the path.
Okay. Now?
Okay. So now type, window. Click on the Windows key and type environment variables.
Okay. N?
Environment. Okay. Edit system environment. Click, no, no, no. Click on
Okay,
that.
this one.
Okay. So guys, first we need to set the path for environment variables in the system variables, not in the user variables. Okay. So in the system variables, click on the new. So first we need to set one variable. Okay. Type Maven home in the capital letters. Maven underscore home. HOME home. And paste the URL that you have copied.
Here.
In the variable value. Okay. And now please navigate to the path value.
Browse file.
Sorry.
Should I click OK?
Yeah. Click okay. And click on the path and click on the edit. Okay. Now click on the new and type percentage symbol Maven home, Maven underscore home, the variable you have created now. Okay, and percentage slash,
Okay.
not this one.
Uh,
Okay, home. No, not home. Bin, BIN, which is a small letters, So we have to set the path till bin. Okay, now click OK. Close all the windows.
Done.
So can you rename this? Can you, yeah, just copy the Spring Tool suite into your folder in Java practice folder. Copy this.
Okay.
Copy this to Java practice folder. Paste it. And can you rename it? Just rename it. Just type Spring. That's it. Remove everything. Just type Spring. G, not T. Okay, you can give any name. Yeah. So click it. Okay. Now open the command prompt from the folder. Open command prompt from this folder and type cmd. Okay, now we have to extract the jar file that we have downloaded. Okay, so type java space hyphen jar space spring.jar.
I think S should be
S
capital,
should
right?
be capital. Yeah, we have mentioned dot jar.
Spring dot.
Spring.jar. jar. Enter. Now it will extract all the files of a jar file into our folder. Okay, just wait for a few minutes. It has to import, at least 11,000 files. Okay, we successfully configured. Now go to the folder Java practice folder. Now you can find the Spring Tool Suite folder, STS. Yes, open the STS folder and scroll down. Here you have one application called Spring Tool Suite for application. Okay, so just create a shortcut in your desktop for this. Create a shortcut
For it.
for, yeah, Spring Tool Suite.
Is it
Click on the
installed? I think it's not installed.
no need to install.
Okay.
That we have to extract. That's it. Okay, now you can double click or you can create a shortcut. Okay, so just double click on it. If you want to access it from your desktop, you have to create a shortcut for that. Okay,
Okay.
now no need to go to D and so on. So just simply clicking on the desktop.
Okay, sir.
When you are using Spring Tool Suite or Eclipse, make sure you have at least, okay, at least 4 GB of RAM. At least, not less than the 4 GB for sure. Okay, click on the launch. Okay, so this is the basic interface of STS. Okay, now click on the created. Oh, no, don't click on anything. So click on the file. Click on the file and click on the new. Click on the other. Select other project. Other.
Others.
Please go down. Other.
Okay, okay.
Yes, other project. Type Maven here. MAVEN. Okay, so select the Maven project. So we have to select Maven project. Okay, select Maven and click on the next. Okay, so this is asking you for the default location. Okay, our workspace location is the default. So click on the next. And here we have to select catalog for our project. Okay, so we have so many catalogs. Okay, so please go to the catalog session. No, please go to the catalogs. I mean, it is showing all catalogs, no? There.
Okay.
Select internal catalog above. There is a
Internal.
there is a drop down at the catalog option. No, not here.
Then.
The
Okay.
above
Yeah. Okay.
catalog. Select internal. Okay. So here you have to select archetype quick start. The last one. Archetype quick start.
In this section.
Yeah, no. The last one. 1.1. Yes.
Oh, this
Archetype
one.
quick start. Okay, you have to select archetype quick start 1.1 version. Okay, don't use any other things. Okay, you have to create archetype quick start application of Maven only. Okay, So that is the last option you can see. Okay, so click on the next. Architect quick start only. Click on the next.
Okay. But this was not last. There are so many options after.
This one, yeah, okay.
And
So give something like group ID, like so first project or something. Group ID is first, and create your project. No, no, no. Just give some only one word. That's it. It's not your project name. Just give first. Yeah. So coming to the artificial ID. So here you have to create your project name. Okay. So name your project to something like
okay.
simple bank application,
Okay.
just like simple bank. No, no, no. You cannot have spaces. Okay.
Okay.
So just type simple bank. That's it. Or bank application. Very good. So yeah, click on the
And
finish.
underscore, sir? Can I use underscore?
Don't use any underscore or dot in. So
Okay.
it is good one. Good one. Yeah. So click on the finish. Okay. It took some time to create a project. Okay. So I mean in the footer you can see the project. I mean project is configured. In the footer you can see.
Yeah.
Hmm. So after its completion, your project is completely ready to run. Guys, is that okay? Rupa, Priyanshu,
Yes, sir. Yes.
or otherwise I mean I can type all the following steps in one particular text document. I can share it to you if you are having still if you are having any confusion. I can type everything in the text document. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can give you the text document of this thing. Okay. It will take some time. So please bear with it.
It will reload for all files. So download.
Done.
Okay, correct. Now we are ready to bank with our project. Okay, so click on the bank application, and now you can see. So it is a Java SE 1.5 version. Okay, 1.5 version. Now we have to reconfigure it to 17th version of Java. Okay, and please click on the pom.xml and give me a minute. I'm getting some important file. Just give me a minute. Okay. No, no, no. So don't open this JRE system library. Click on the pom.xml. So pom.xml is our important file. Okay. Here we have to mention all the software versions and all. Okay. So click on the pom.xml. Okay, so here we have to reconfigure our Java version. Okay, so to reconfigure Java version, we don't need to do anything. Okay, just we need to copy the dependencies. Okay, so we are using the Maven, right? So when you are using Maven application, you don't need to download any external softwares. Okay, so Maven do all the things that you have mentioned in the pom.xml. So here we have to mention 17th version of Java in the pom.xml. For that, please click on the Google Chrome once again, and please type Maven Java source. Maven Java source version. Yes, enter, and open the first link that you have seen. Yeah, click and copy the Maven compiler source and Maven compiler target. Copy those two lines. No, no, no.
This one.
Fourth one and fifth one. Yes, copy it. Copy it and come to the workspace, and here in the properties, no, so after properties, like project build source and coding, no, within the project properties only. Yeah, just click enter and paste it. So in the properties you have to set the compiler, I mean Java compiler. If you want to come, I mean, so here you are using JUnit 3.8. Okay, if you want to change the JUnit 3.8, you can change the 3.8. Otherwise, we can change it later. Okay, as of now, don't do anything. Okay, so don't change any JUnit. We can rechange it. Okay, so when you are using Maven compiler source, no, so it is showing 1.8. We don't need 1.8. We need 17. Replace 1.8 with 17. 17. 17. Yes. Save. Control S. Okay, so we successfully saved our thing. Now we have to upgrade our project. Okay, so just right click on the bank application. Astosh, right click on the bank application. There you have to see Maven. You can see Maven in the options. Okay, and click on the update project. You have to update the project and click on the force update of snapshot reviews.
This one?
Yes, yeah, okay, click OK. Now you can see, so it changed to Java 17th version. Okay, you can see at the JRE. Okay, so we are using 17th version of Java for our project now. Okay, so this is how you need to configure the Java 17th version to your project.
That's very tricky.
Mhm. So Nishan,
Other for server.
okay, I need to perform configure JRE whenever you need to configure JRE, right? I didn't get your question, Nishan. Can you explain it? Yeah, every time. So okay, okay, I got it. So every time when you are creating a new project, you have to reconfigure your JRE version in the project. By default, STS took only 1.5 version. Okay, for every time, for every project, you have to do this thing.
Is it done, sir?
Yeah, we are done. We are done with JRE system library, So I mean, we are using JRE 17 for our project. Now we can create any type of application. We can write any code on that. Okay, so I'll explain you the structure of Java project. Okay, just hold on in the STS. Just hold up. Okay.
Hold on.
No, 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 no. I'll explain. Okay, can you guide me to create an application in Java? Java application, this type of Maven application, so that I can understand how many of you understand. I deleted all the projects. Document is see, I don't have any project in my workspace. Okay, now I need to configure, okay, Java project. So how to do it? Can someone can guide me other than our regular guys? Can anyone? What is the first step to create a Java project? What is it? Hello.
So
Just
go to file,
yeah, go to file. Now,
uh, new,
okay, new.
uh, and in the others,
Okay, select. We have to select other. Okay. Now we have to do. We have to type for in the wizard session. We have to type for Maven. Okay, Maven. Type Maven. So we have Maven module, Maven project, so and so. So we need a Maven project. Okay. Select Maven project and click on the next. Okay, so it use my default location. Yes, I want to use my default location. And here we have to select catalogs. Okay, so by default it shows you other all the catalogs. We don't need all the catalogs. We just need a internal catalogs. Okay, we just need a internal catalogs. Okay, so in the internal catalogs, okay, you can see Maven archetype quick start. Okay, artificial ID is Maven archetype quick start, which is the version of 1.1. We have a version of 1.0 as well. We don't need 1.0, we need a 1.1 is the recent version. So select the 1.1 Maven archetype quick start and click on the next. Click on the next. Now you can give any, okay, any group id, like I'm giving test is my group id, and my artificial id is simple bank application. Simple bank is my, okay, artificial id, and I can create something package called com dot simple bank. Okay, so if you want to use a new package, you can reconfigure your package name in the package section and click on the finish. Okay, I think something with this name. I can change the name of this project. Okay. Bank application, bank app. Okay. Com dot bank app. Now I can click OK. Okay. So it will configure bank application with me. Okay, so we successfully loaded our bank application. Here still we are using 1.5. We have to update the version of JRE. So click on the pom.xml. It's very simple steps. Okay, very simple steps. The regular steps. And go to Google and type Maven Java source version, and open the first URL. Okay, and copy the Maven source and target. Okay, copy the Maven source and target and paste it in the properties of your pom.xml file, and change this 1.8 to 17. We need a 17th version of JRE, so change it 17. Okay, save this form.xml. Now we need to update our project, right? So click on the right click on the bank application and go to the Maven, and in the Maven you have update project option. Okay, click update project, and we have to do force update. I want to do force update, and okay, click OK. See, we successfully created, okay, I mean a project with Java 17th version. Okay, now we have to write something in this project. Now we have to write something, right? So when you want to create anything, any file in your project, you have to create a separate package file. Okay, so here please go with the structure of Java program. Okay, in our bank application you can have different types of folders. Okay, so first one is src main Java. Src main Java. In the src main Java you can have your all the source code. Okay, you can write all the source code within the src main Java folder. Okay, and we have another thing which is a src test Java. Okay, so in the src test you have, okay, you can write all the test cases. Okay, you can write all the test cases, like if you want to perform testing for your application, you have to write the all the test cases within the src test Java. We can write the test cases as well. Okay, but in the later sessions. Okay, and coming to the JRE system library, this JRE system library includes all the important Java files, jar files to our application. And the Maven dependencies. Okay, so the things which you mentioned in the pom.xml, no, so we are using only one extra library which is JUnit, so that's why it is using JUnit 3.81. Okay, so the things which you mentioned, the software which you added in the pom.xml will downloaded automatically by this Maven dependencies. Okay, Maven dependencies can have all the softwares which you mentioned in the pom.xml file. Okay, so after pom.xml you can have the src. In the src, like the things which you created in the main Java folder, okay, they will create automatically in this thing. Okay, and the target is used to create some external, okay, libraries. If you want to create any external libraries, you can create a targets folder. Okay, so these are the important folder structure for your program. So here I want to create one basic project, right? I want to write some code. Okay, I want to write some very simple code to our my project. Okay, so I can create, okay, I can create some packages in the main Java file. As I already told you, if you want to write any file, okay, if you want to write any file, you can create the separate packages for it. Okay, you can create separate packages for it. Okay, so in the src main folder, okay, in the src main folder you can see different one package. Okay, com.bank application. Okay, com.bank application is our package. Okay, I want to create another package because so here I want to create three-tier architecture, right? I want to create three-tier architecture application, three-tier architecture application. So in the teaser architecture application, you have model, you have view, you have controller. Okay, you have three things. Okay, model, view, controller. Assume, okay, your application is our main. Okay, com.bank. Okay, com.bank app is our main package. So our view, okay, the name of the view package will be com.bank app, com.bank app, and I want to create separate folder. Okay, so this particular I mean package, uh, it creates defaultly. Okay, no need to create com.bank app. Okay, it creates automatically when you are creating a project. So here I want to create a package for model and a package for controller. So here I can create a package like com.bank app dot model. Okay, com dot bank app dot model, and I can create com dot bank app dot controller. Okay, so these are the packages that I want to use in our my main project. Okay, so click on the src main file, src main java, and right click on it, right click on it. Okay, and click on the new and create a new package, create a new package. We need a package as com.bankapp.model. So I can create com.bankapp.model. Okay, I'm creating one package here and click on the finish. Okay, and let's create another package. Okay, right click new, create another package as com.bankapp. So this time I need a application called a controller. Okay, controller. Okay, com.bankapp.controller. See, in our src file, in our src main java file, you have three packages. One is com.bankapp, one is com.bankapp.controller, one is com.bankapp.model. You have three different packages. Okay, so in the com.bankapp you have one java file which is app.java. Okay, in the com.bank app file you have one java file called, okay, app.java. I want to create another files in the controller. Okay, see, I want to create one java file in the model, one java file, and one java file in the controller also. Okay, so right click on the controller and click on the class. Okay, you have to create a class. So click on the new class. Okay, in the new class you have to name your class. Okay, so I'm giving my name as this is controller, right? So bank controller class. Okay, bank controller. Okay, so if you want, yeah, if you want to mention any modifiers like public, okay, if you want to make it as an abstract, you can make. Okay, if you want to create any, okay, static methods, you can create any static methods like this. Okay, so I don't want anything, I can create this by manually. Okay, so click on the finish. So I created one file in the controller. I created one file in the controller as bankcontroller.java. Okay, I created one file called bankcontroller.java. And now I want to create another file in the Java model. Okay, So click on right click on the model package and write new, go to the new and click on the class. Okay, if you want to create any Java file, no, you have to click on the class. You have to create a class for it. Okay, so create a class. So this is a model package, right? So I'm creating some model, bank model. Okay, and click on the finish. See, right now we have three packages. This bank app has one package called, uh, app.java, and in the model we have one Java file called bank model.java. See, we have three different packages, okay, and three different classes in the three different packages. Each package has one class. Okay, see, you can see it here. Com.bankapp has app.java, com.bankapp controller has bank controller.java, and com.bankapp.model has bank model.java. We have three different files, okay, in three different packages. Okay, is this clear, guys, for everyone?
Yes, sir.
After creating the project, I created, okay, two packages. Okay, this bank.com.bank app is by default. Okay, no need to create this package. Okay, you have to create a model and a controller package. Okay, for just understanding, I created files like this. Okay, you can create any package, you can create any packaging. Okay, for just understanding, I created like this. Okay, so you can create any package you want to. Okay, so here I created you can validate the user's input, like user is, I mean, input is perfect or not, user password consists of 5 or 6 different things or not. You can control all the data in the bank app controller. In the bank model, you can create the different methods to set your project. Okay, so these are the things that we have to do. Okay, and give me a minute. Different package for different files. Okay, see, so here I created different packages. Why? Because we are creating a three-tier architecture. See, so here I am having three-tier architecture. No, I can create all the files of models, like, so if I had a customer class in the bank, okay, so I can create a customer class in the model package, customer class in the model package. And if I want to control the data of customer class, then I can write customer validations in controller package. If I want to read the user, I mean, input for the customer class, I can call customers input in the view package. Okay, so every Java project must have three different packages. Okay, that is, one is model, one is view, one is controller. Okay, because we are developing three-tier architecture applications. Three-tier architecture application is nothing but the combination of model, view, controller. Okay, model is nothing but, okay, the main methods that you are creating. View is nothing but the main method. Okay, in the view only you can see the all the data passing to the different methods. Okay, nothing but view is the main method. Okay, just assume view is the main method. If you want to perform any regular expression, for example, if you want to perform I mean regular expressions on the data which is given by the user, then you have to perform those regular expressions in the controller package, because controller is nothing but a controlling the data. Okay, you want to create some, I mean, you want to communicate with other methods like deposit, withdraw, p change. Okay, those methods are the part of model, because they are modeling the content, they are modeling the data in the application. So you have to create if you want to create any application, you have to create a packages like this. This is the ideal package management. Okay, is that okay? Thank you. Guys, you are so silent. What's happening? I mean, is it not necessary create those different packages, but it is recommended to do because you can create all the files in one package. Okay, so you can create all the Java files in one package only, but that doesn't make any sense. When you are in a MNC companies, when you are a developer, senior developer, you have to separate the logic. The main agenda of Java project is hiding the implementation details, right? So by using this view, you can, I mean, you can hide the logic of model and you can hide the logic of controller as well. You can give only the view component to the user so that user can't see the model application and the controller. Okay, if you mention everything in one particular file, okay, if you give that project, okay, if you give that particular package to the user can see the code, user can see the main code. So what is the meaning of creating a Java application in that case? So we want to hide the data implementation details. Okay, we want to show them the functionality. So all the code which we have written must be in the place of view only. So that's why you can give the view component to the user, so user can happily use the features of our Java application. But user can't, user don't know about the features, how we implemented the features. Okay, so yeah, it's, I mean, you can create one package. In the one package you can create all the Java files, but it doesn't make any sense to you. Okay, we are using hoops concepts. You have to hide the implementation detail, you have to achieve encapsulation, you have to achieve a data abstraction. Okay, so that's why you are creating three different packages for three different tasks. Okay, every Java project must has the three tasks: reading the input, processing the input, and storing the input. That's it. Okay, to read the input we have view, to process the input we have controller, to store the input we have model. That's it. Every Java project has similar structure. Okay, these guys are so silent. What's happening, guys? Is it okay? I know things are getting complex, but we should maintain some concentration. We should pay concentration. Okay, as from Nishad to Divya, what about others?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you create these three different packages for three different files in your Java application? Can you do it for tomorrow? Okay, I'll ask you to share your screen tomorrow, so you have to show me the files. Okay, no need to write any code. No need to write any code. Okay, I'll tell you how to write the code in those files. Just create the folder structure, just create the project structure. That's it. If you are very clear with the project structure, you can write the code. You're all masters, I know, but you need a one particular architecture, right, to organize our code. Okay, so anybody can write the code, but only developers can organize the code in a proper way. So we need to organize our code in a proper way. Is it okay, boys?
Yes, sir.
If you are not clear, if you are having any confusion, if you are having any doubt, okay, please ask me, please inform me. Okay, I am there for you, I'll help you for sure. But I need, at the end of the day, I need out. Okay, I need result. That's it. Okay, still if you are having any doubt, tomorrow also I can explain you this thing only. Still if you are having any doubt. Okay, so can I write some code today, like tomorrow we can write? Which one? Can I write?
I think enough for today, sir. For tomorrow.
Okay. What about others? Can I listen from others? Can I continue to write the code in the project, or can I wind up? It's your call. And I'll inform you, we have a lot to discuss. A lot. A lot of content. Boys and girls, what to do?
I
The
think, sir, you
code
are
for
random call.
tomorrow.
Okay. So two votes for tomorrow. What about others? Suraj, you are saying something, Suraj.
Yes, sir. That's the reason I'm changed for shift for the timing. I'm sent for WhatsApp, but they can not reply for anyone.
Hmm. Okay.
For reply everyone because it's help with you.
But right, yeah, let's discuss this in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, sir. I am sent for WhatsApp group, but anyone not reply with.
Hmm. Maybe those are not interested in that thing. Okay, let's discuss. We have a lot of time, no? Sure.
Yes, sir. Because as a project, architecture is hard for all.
Hmm. No, when we are in the initial stage, then it is hard.
Yes, sir.
After going through the project structure and all,
I am created
it's
for
good.
as a architecture, but as a controller, DO, and service and different models.
Mhm.
Why? Just a need for you have to made for, but you are decided for create for model name.
Hmm. Actually, like everyone has a different style of creating projects, but
Yes, sir.
this is
Uh,
the ideal model. This is
yes,
the
sir.
recommended model
I am
to create.
created for the for 1 year old for project. I am
Hmm.
just type for Spring Initializer. I am just download for template.
Okay.
Then import for every as a because I'm not for as a download for Apache Tomcat server and it's all many dependency.
Mm-hmm.
So I think easily for handle.
Okay. Chalo. Guys, is that okay to like? Can I wind up the session, or if you want to learn more, I can. Yes, Nishant. Nishant, you can. Yeah, you can create a main method in the view. Sorry, Nishant, your voice is breaking. Nishant, can we declare methods in the main method of view practice? Yeah, we can. You can write a basic things, everything. Okay. So I mean, in Notepad we are creating the one class. Within the one class we are writing so much code, right? You can do you can do same in the STS also, but it is not recommended. That's it. Okay. So don't worry. Tomorrow you will have a clarity what to do with those packages and what to do with the class and all. Okay. Tomorrow I'm concentrating only on the project only. I don't teach any new content to you. Okay, so that you can have a clarity. So we will have a complete discussion on STS tool and creating a package. I mean, creating a different projects. That's it. Tomorrow is all about. Yes, Rupa.
So you haven't shared notes since 9th of August. If you could share the notes as well
Okay.
as.
Will you see the notes? Just let me. Give me one minute. Okay. Okay. So I had 10th and 11th notes. Okay, I'll show you. And today's notes as well. Okay. So can I wind up right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, please take care while creating the project and all. If you are having any doubts, okay, please note down. Okay, tomorrow I'll explain. Okay, tomorrow you can share your screen. We can configure it. Okay, so better to join through laptops for tomorrow not for only tomorrow, from tomorrow onwards for every class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay.